Cool. Here we are, Johnny Gonzalez, aka Upside Down Consciousness, on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Hopped on my laptop for this episode because the vision of my last video was not sufficient enough. So we're going to transfer over, screen record from YouTube. And we're going to be moving on to lesson 4 of the Mucusless diet healing system, which is part 2 of the diagnosis of chapter 3. Lesson number 4, fat and lean body types. I just added the body types, that way you have a reference. Fat and lean types. The bodily mechanism of the fat type is, on the average, mechanically more obstructed because he or she is, in general, an overeater of starchy foods. In the lean type, there is more physiological chemical interference with the organism, such as one being, in a one-sided meat eater, a condition which produces especially much acidity, uric acids, and other poisons. Disease story. As a general rule, I ask my prospective patients the following questions, as the knowledge to be gained is of great importance. How long have you been sick? What did the doctor call your disease? What was the nature of the treatment? How much and what kinds of treatment was taken? Have you ever been operated on? What other kinds of treatment have you taken before? Age, sex, whether a disease is inherited, etc., are important points. The most important thing, however, is a patient's diet at present, their special craving for certain foods, their wrong habits, and if constipated, and how long. What kinds of diets, if any, were used before? It is necessary to base the change in diet on the patient's present diet, and only a slight change toward an improved diet is advisable. The experimental diagnosis. The most exact, unerring diagnosis we have is a short fast. The more rapidly the patient feels worse through a short fast, the greater and the more poisonous is his or her encumbrance. Should they become dizzy, suffer from severe headaches, etc., they are greatly clogged up with mucus and toxemias. If palpitation of the heart occurs, it is a sign that pus is somewhere in the system, or that drugs, even though taken many years ago, are in the circulation for elimination. Any special constipated place is located by a light pain in there. The experimental practitioner can ascertain better than with X-rays through nature's revelation after a short fast, the true condition of the inside of the human body, and knows the real diagnosis more correctly than doctors can ascertain with all their expensive scientific equipment and instruments. If the short fast diagnosis is tried on the average person called normal and healthy, but in reality clogged up with mucus and latent disease, nature reveals the same in a moderate degree. If a weak point has begun to develop, unsuspected by them, nature will unerringly indicate where and how he or she will later become sick if the wrong method of living is continued. Although it may be after some years, this then is the prognosis of disease. Some special diagnoses. To show that all differently named diseases, even the most severe ones, have their basis and are caused by the same general and constitutional encumbrance of the body, I shall show you, in the light of truth, a few characteristic kinds of cases. Through these illustrative examples, I shall prove that there is not a single disease, not a disturbance or sensation, not an unhealthy appearance or symptom, which cannot be explained and seen at once in its real nature as local constipation, constitutional constipation, by mucus and its toxemias, most of the quantities continually supplied from the chronic reserve shock of waste. in the stomach, intestines, and especially in the colon. The basement of the human temple is a reservoir from which every symptom of disease and weakness is supplied in all its manifestations. A cold. It is a beneficial effort to eliminate waste from the cavities of the head, the throat, and the bronchial tubes. Pneumonia. The cold goes deeper and will eliminate and clean the mucus from the most spongy and vital organ, the lung. A hemorrhage occurs to clean more radically. The entire system is aroused, causing high temperature by friction of the waste in circulation. That proves alarming, and the doctor suppresses this by drugs and food, and thus actually blocks nature's process of healing, cleansing. If the patient does not die, the elimination becomes chronic, and it is called consumption. The consumptive patient continually eliminates his or her mucus caused from erroneous increased mucus-forming foods through the lungs instead of through natural ways. This organ itself decays more and more, producing germs, and it is then called tuberculosis. The vital organ, lung, the pump, works insufficiently on the circulation. The entire cell system decays more and more and decomposes before the patient dies. A toothache. Its pain is a warning signal of nature. Stop eating. I must repair. There is waste and pus. You have eaten too much lime poor food, meat. Rheumatism and gout. Mucus and uric acid particularly accumulate in the joints since there is the less dependable part of the tissues for the passage of the circulation. Heavily loaded with waste and uric acid in the one-sided meat eater's body. The stomach is a central organ of disease matter supply. There is a limit to the ability of the organ to digest, to empty itself after the meal. Every type of food, even the best kinds, is mixed with this acid mucus, continually remaining in the average person's stomach. The wonder is how long the human can stand such conditions. Gouter. It is a deposit by nature of tremendous waste to keep it from entering the circulation. A boil. It is in principle the same as a goiter, only the elimination is outside. Stammering. It is a special accumulation of mucus in the throat, interfering with the functioning of the vocal cords. I have cured several cases. Liver and kidney diseases. These organs are of a very spongy construction, and their function is that of a kind of physiological sieve. They are, therefore, easily constipated by sticky mucus. Sex diseases. These have for their origin nothing more than mucus eliminations through these organs, and are easily healed. The use of drugs alone produces the characteristic symptoms of syphilis. The more drugs that have been used, especially mercury, the more carefully the treatment must be conducted. Ear and eye diseases. Even short or far-sightedness is a congestion in the eyes. The trouble with hearing from congestion of the organs, I healed a few kinds of blindness and deafness by the same principles. Mental diseases. Besides a congested system, I found that anyone mentally diseased with congestion, especially of the brain, one man of the verge of insanity was cured by a 4-week fast. There is nothing easier to heal by fasting than insanity. Such men and women, having lost their reason, their natural instinct tells them not to eat. I learned that if you heal through the mucus's diet healing system, all kinds of illnesses, most of the patients are relieved of greater or lesser mental conditions. After a fast comes a clearer mind. Unity of ideas comes to take the place of differences. Differences of ideas today are caused largely by diet. If something is wrong with anyone, look first to the stomach. The mentally diseased man or woman suffers physiologically from gas pressure on the brain. Sheesh. Let me tell you something. This is the health Bible, and I applaud you for being here and wanting to learn more, expand yourself, expand your awareness on health in general, because at the end of the day, we got to save ourselves. And you can't expect to achieve in this physical reality on a damaged vessel. So stay tuned, keep up, be safe, be happy, love, take care of your health. Until next time, peace, peace.